and have, I suppose, extended themselves in terms of what they've done. Last year I did the run from Caboolture to Brisbane to run 1 kilometre for every woman and child killed through domestic violence in 1 year, and that was 110 kilometres. Just a couple of spin-offs from that, if I could, before I announce the winner. One spin-off is that it drew attention to itself, and an ex-girlfriend, and I only ever had 2 girlfriends. And my favourite is my ongoing life partner. I should say my ex-girlfriend, but
stop now.
It was actually quite a touching story because she'd heard what I'd done, and I hadn't seen her for many years, and she tracked me down and relayed to me that after we broke up, she ended up in an arranged marriage, which was quite abusive, horrendously abusive. And it was hearing that story that brought her back to me, and she, I suppose, thanked me and the CEO Challenge team for doing that. So I wanted to share that. The other spin-off is that I guess the idea there is that people that you think you know so well, you just don't realise what they're going through, and that's the issue with domestic violence. Second spin-off is that we are going to, as I promised last year, carry that run forward, so the 110 kilometre run forward. So I'm announcing here, because I think it's almost locked in place, that a team from Minty has been working on an event that will hold every May, which will be a 110 kilometre run. I'm not asking anyone to run 110 kilometres, 5 kilometres at the most, but it will be all through the night, and finishing with a big run in the morning. So keep an eye out for that. Messages will be coming out.
What's it called, Rob?
It's called the Darkness to Daylight Challenge, and that's the symbolisation of coming out of the darkness into the hope that places like CEO Challenge. I'm very honoured and humbled then to announce the winner of this year's Challenger Award. And it was also a tough decision. But what we looked at here is we saw someone who, at the start of the race, got up and spoke quite humbly, quite nervously, felt himself to be perhaps a bit of a fish out of water, perhaps a bit of an underdog, and that might even be words that he used. Was evidently completely out of his comfort zone, and yet through the course of the 6 months has obviously done such an amazing job, has really extended himself, and I would say equally to what anyone might have run, and perhaps even harder. This was a personal challenge for him to get up there, put his name out there, and obviously be really affected by the issue, and obviously understanding that he's going to be carrying that forward forever. So the winner of this year's Challenger Award, it will be no surprise to you to hear, is Scotty from...
Wow, thank you very much, and once again, purely to Minter Ellison, our corporate partners for Australia CEO Challenge. Events like this and venues like this are not possible without the support of Minter Ellison. And to Australia CEO Challenge Board, thank you very much for accepting me as a racer. And I think it's pretty evident in this room tonight, there's some business leaders in this room, and I'd encourage, wherever possible, put your hand up, say no to domestic violence, and carry on the great work that Australia CEO Challenge is doing. So, to my fellow racers, this is pretty cool. Like, I'm so thank you, Cisco boys, and to the Cisco boys, thank you for the work that you put your hand up and you've engaged with a resource, a refuge in Brisbane, Queensland, you've engaged with it, and that's what we need. We need corporate support to engage with the refuges, to support the work they're doing, but through Australia's CEO Challenge, workplace programs, let's talk about prevention, let's talk about awareness. So hopefully one day we're not standing here talking about domestic violence. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Scott. That's wonderful.